Hey there, baby girl. How are you today? So, I just finished up my last inspection of the day, which was only one today, because in this grand pandemic of the 2020s that has created a whole bunch of doubt and fear and anxiety amongst all of us adults trying to make a living, accumulate wealth, and provide for our families. This is scary. It's the truth because you went from having the opportunity, and this is how it feels. So, I'll give you an example. The Friday before quarantine started, I got a check for 2 weeks worth of work of $3,300. It would have been a total of $5,200, but a big chunk of that went to paying taxes and insurance and stuff. So I spent probably about $1,200 on just taxes and insurance on that check, and got to take home $3,300. This check I'll be getting tomorrow is going to be for probably less than half of that. That's how dramatic the shift has gone from prosperity and income at a high level and all this to an economic crash and burn. Just in the last 2 weeks, 10 million people have filed for unemployment, and that's probably only two-thirds of the people who are actually unemployed. Because you have a good chunk of people who just can't get through to apply for unemployment, and then you're going to have another chunk of people that are too proud to file for unemployment. And either way, it's probably not quite accurate. Uh, as of now, we're over 200,000 people who've gotten this virus, and I think like 10,000 people that have died in the United States. And this is the second time a big economic downgrade has happened in the last 12 years. So consider that I'm 32 years old today. That means that for basically my entire adult working life, we've been in a recession recovery up until about the last 4 or 5 years. And then everything was going great and it was a boom economy. And here we are again into an economic recession again. Twice in my life, twice in your mom's life. I don't know. It's crazy, little girl. I mean, fortunately for us, you're doing wonderfully. Your mama's having a rough day today. She got a blockage going on and can't get milk out of her breast, and then she's feeling allergies, we hope. But she's awful. She's sneezing, coughing, sneezing lots today. So hopefully it's not what this virus is, but it's entirely possible that it could be. We're gonna see what happens, but things are getting a little bit scary around here. Um, you know, you never can tell when something's gonna happen that's very so disruptive to your life that it can't be calculated. We can prepare ourselves for the worst, and this is what everybody's calling is a black swan event. Just something that you just cannot predict. And, I hate to say it, but I'm sure a lot of people predicted that this was going to happen. It's just nobody really truly understood exactly what all the consequences of a pandemic virus getting out and killing hundreds of thousands of people in a short period of time would do. And I don't know. I think we're going to be having a brand new world looking forward. The survivors of this are going to have a lot of opportunity to implement hopefully a better world. Hopefully this is a very educational experience for everybody involved in it, and when we're done with this, we all realize that there was a lot of ways we could have prevented it. There was a lot of communication skills that communication skills and communication opportunities that were blatantly ignored or openly missed in favor of greed and desire to stand on top of a big pile of money or things and demonstrate your value to the world. Um, every company out in the world, every coaching facility, everybody who's talking anything right now as far as financial is determined. It's always profit first. Get your 20% profit first. First, profit, 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 profit. And those are, the folks that are going to benefit the most out of this because they are obviously very up on the front edge and making sure they get their money. So they're going to find a way of getting their money out of this deal. They're going to get their profit. They're going to buy more property, more wealth. They're going to use more wealth, get more gold. It's a great opportunity. But at the end of the day, a lot of the downsides to a lot of the things that we're discovering about where our shortcomings as a country are for this situation is really rooted in that greed of getting that 20%. Like every single company that produces pharmaceutical or sells pharmaceutical equipment in the United States is relying on manufacturers in China because it's cheaper to get that stuff from China than it is to have it manufactured here in the United States. And because it's cheaper, that means the profit margin is higher, because just because you can get something cheaper doesn't mean you charge less money for it. It just means your profit margin goes up. So that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with, this constant desire to escalate the profit margin without actually truly taking a step back and realizing what the ultimate costs could be with saving a buck here to make a buck there. And right now we're dealing with a lack of medical supplies, a lack of face masks, a lack of goggles, a lack of sterilization equipment, a lack of everything in the medical field, apparently. Ventilators, you name it, we don't have it. And unfortunately, the areas that we'd like to get it from are shutting down their supplies to us because they need it. Take care of your people first. And if they've got it because they're the manufacturers of it, why should they send it to us in the United States when they got their own damn people to worry about? It's completely rational and reasonable and totally, totally, totally not what we can deal with in the United States. Like it seems that every single attitude in the United States, even down to individual people at this point, is just, hey, it's a problem, but we can throw money at it and we'll get a solution. And unfortunately, this is not a problem that you can throw money at and get a solution out of. This is where you have to throw people and talent at it to even come close to getting a solution on it. And, that means you have to pay for people with talent and ability and determination to succeed. And if you're not willing to do that, then you'll end up stuck in the same hole where you're chasing your profit margins and sacrificing people to do so. And then, oh my God, there's a black swan event that we could not have predicted that totally was predicted, and then it happened, and now we can't get this, we can't get that. 10 million people lose their jobs in 2 weeks. Who's going to pay their mortgages? Who's going to pay their rents? Oh my goodness. Whereas if this need to get the 20% profit margin backed off to just like maybe 10%, then the people who are getting these rents would have possibly had the opportunity to save enough money so that when this event happened, they would have enough of their own personal wealth to be able to survive through this situation without relying on the government. Because that's what we did. That's what it looks like to me as a layman looking at it, just generally, is that the constant need to get that 20% profit margin has created a condition in which nobody was able to prepare themselves for a downfall. Nobody took the time to slow down and think about what happens when what could happen when it all goes wrong. And here we are. It's all gone wrong. People don't have any confidence in what's going to happen in the next 2-3 weeks. We don't have any confidence in our ability to get the things that we need to survive. And we don't have any confidence in being able to pay for the things we already have. So what do you do? It's a bad situation all the way through, and hopefully we learn. Hopefully we learn that this constant need to get that 20% is what put us here. And if we would have backed off and, hey, listen, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, or the pursuit of property, and in our pursuit of property, we have completely ignored the right of life for a significant portion of people. Because I want my property. That means I'm going to take advantage of your life. And that's basically what it seems to come down to. So A little bit of a depressing rant from your papa today. You know, and these are just kind of out of the box thoughts. And, you know, I actually wanted to make the video just to share with you because hopefully you won't ever suffer through something like this. But, you know, it appears to be something that's going to be happening with more and more regularity until there's a revolution to stop it. You know, this is the way things have been working, obviously doesn't work. So that means you have to make a dramatic change to correct it. And whatever that change may look like, it's going to be an ugly experience on how we get there. Where this pandemic that ignited the powder keg with a couple 100,000 deaths is nothing compared to what it actually took to get to a real place of actual, like, you know, I won't say fairness because life isn't fair, but at least to the point where you have the opportunity to have a life, you know. So, anyway, little depressing. Sorry, baby girl. On the plus side, you're super sweet, super cute. Still a little bit like shook by your haircut, but you're super, super cute, and I love you. I miss you all the time when I'm not with you. So, in a weird way, this pandemic has been a blessing to me and your mama. One of her big goals after you came is becoming, she's a very independent woman, and she wanted to become, you know, productive in our little family. And because I was working, you know, 8 or 10, you know, mostly 10 to 12 hours a day, I didn't have time left over to, you know, babysit you and give her the time that she needed to, you know, develop her own passion and well. So, fortunately, out of this pandemic, I've been able to spend a lot more time with you, which I love. And that gives your mom the time that she needs to, you know, find a way to help our family make some additional wealth and whatnot. So, you love walks on the beach, even though we're actually not allowed to do that right now. Quarantine sucks, but we're still pushing the limits of the rules we have to. Anyway, baby girl, I'm going to get off the phone with you. I love you. We will talk to you again soon.